Here's a short tutorial showing you how to play the piano riff from Cee Lo Green's Forget You. I'm going to teach you the riff exactly as it's played on the recording, so this is not a simplified arrangement. Here it is straight through. So let's break that down, starting with the left hand. The left hand plays in octaves all the way through, so you're always playing two of the same note at a time. I'm going to split the left hand down into 4 groups of 3 notes each. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. So you start with your left hand thumb on the G, an octave and a half below middle C. So then your little finger's on the G, an octave below that. Then group 1 is G, A, C. Repeat those 3 notes over and over again with a gap in between each repetition until you can play those accurately and reliably. So make sure you're practicing slow enough that you can play them right every time. Also, try hinging your hand at the wrist rather than moving your whole arm, as you'll be able to play the octaves quicker that way. So pause the video and do that now before continuing. Next up, group 2. Group 2 starts with the same 2 notes as group 1, but goes down to D instead of going up to C. So your left hand has further to move, so that may take a bit more practice. Again, repeat those 3 notes over and over again until you can play those almost without thinking. Next, group 3 picks up where group 2 left off on D and just goes up 2 steps. D, E, F. So that's the easiest group. That probably won't take too much practice. And similarly, group 4 picks up where group 3 left off on the F, goes up to G and down to C. F, G, C. So group 4 is actually the same shape as group 2, but down a step. So group 2, group 4. So if you can play group 2 easily, you can probably play group 4 quite easily too. So that's the left hand. Once you can play each group easily, you can try stringing them together. Now for the right hand. The right hand you have 4 chords, 1 for each group of 3 notes in the left hand. So they are first chord C major, second chord D major, third chord F major, and fourth chord C major again in a different inversion. So let's go through those one by one. You start with your thumb on G, third on middle C, and fifth on E. And adjust your hand position until you play that comfortably with the back of your hand facing forwards. So for me that means hitting that C right the way down the key. Your second chord is then thumb on F sharp, second on A, and fifth on D. So before moving on to the other chords, practice going from the first one to the second one. Again, practice those pairs with breaks between each repetition, and make sure you're practicing them slow enough that you can get them right every time. Do that now before continuing. Now for the third chord. Third chord is thumb on F, third finger on A, and fifth on middle C. That's a straight F major triad. Now practice going from the second chord to the third. And be careful because they both have A in them, but in the second chord you play it with your second finger, and in the third chord you play it with your third. Second, third, second, third, second, third. So that will probably take the most practice in the right hand. Next up, you have C major again, thumb on E, second on G, fifth on C. So a different C major chord to the first one. And going from the third chord to the fourth should be quite easy. So you won't have to practice it as much as the other two transitions. Finally, don't forget to practice going from the fourth chord back to the first one again, which you'll need to do quickly and easily if you're playing the riff more than once. So again, once you have all of those transitions down, first chord to the second one, second to the third, third to the fourth, and finally fourth back to the first one, and you can do that easily, then you're ready to put the hands together. So basically for each group of 3 in the left hand, you have one chord, and the chord comes in on the last note of the group of 3. So group 1, chord 1, group 2, chord 2, group 3, chord 3, and group 4, chord 4. Again, practice those one group and one chord at a time. So keep on repeating group 1 and chord 1 over and over again until that's easy for you. Then do the same with group 2 and chord 2. And then at the end you can try putting all of those together. One final thing, this won't sound very good if you don't play it in time, so you need to practice with a metronome. The original speed is 128 beats per minute, but we're going to start at 58, quite a lot slower. Then each group of 3 in the left hand comes in on and 4 and. I'll show you what I mean by that. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 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 so on. So once you can play the hands together easily, get used to playing that with a metronome like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so on. And then every time you can play the riff straight through at least 10 times in a row, or maybe 15 or 20, you can crank the metronome up 10 beats per minute and then try the same thing at the new speed. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so on until eventually you're up to speed at 128. So happy practicing, and I'll teach you to play the complete song in another video.